All righty. What's going on, everybody? Happy Hump Day. Hump Day. Hopefully, y'all are doing well. When I say hopefully everybody's doing well, no one's even here yet. The way the
No
internet
one's ever
works.
here yet. You got to wait till 32.
Yeah, exactly. So, but y'all comment, say, hey, I'm excited for this episode. I was thankful to meet John. John, it's been how many months now? 6 months, 5 months since we know each other? I think it's been at least 6.
At least 6, probably closer to 7 or 8, because I knew you
Okay.
through Spin before
That's
we
right.
officially connected. So
That's right. So for those of you tuning in, Jonathan just wrapped up his recent job search. So we're going to talk about its successes. I think this is going to be an interesting episode as well. When I say interesting, I mean good, because Jonathan is a senior leader, right? And a lot of people I have on the job search are more like entry level, juniors. I have some seniors, but I really haven't talked to leaders when it comes to the job search. I'm excited to dive in. So for those of you who are tuned in, say, hey, we'd love to hear from you. For those of you who are wondering, what is Guidance Counselor 2.0? This is the thing I started during COVID, March 2020, where I just wanted to share information to the IT community across the country. And so that's what this is. And I've been doing this now for 3 years, and it's kind of it's grown. It was just me kind of running my mouth for a little bit, and it's definitely it's grown a little bit. So excited for this. Also, ask questions as well with Jonathan. This is one of the few times where I can get a leader like Jonathan on the show, and he doesn't bill you for information, and it doesn't bill me for information as well.
wait, I'm not billing you for this.
Yeah.
I thought you got an invoice after this call.
John's like, peace, I'm out. So
Seriously,
yeah,
deuces.
it's just like the Simpsons meme, like going into the
Yeah.
bushes. So ask questions again. Say hey, we'd love to hear from you. Also network with people. Right, this is a networking platform. I go live every day. If I were you, I'd connect with everybody in the chat, everybody who speaks. Say hey, be nice. Jump on over Unicorn Finders. Where my other endeavor, where you connect with all founders and leaders and startups, you're gonna have a pretty good network. So that's what I would do if I were you. All right, cool. Enough of me running my mouth. Oh, I need to give some shout outs. 2 partners. First off, that conference. I'm very blessed to keynote this in July, but also they have great coffee, and they are the official coffee sponsor of Guidance Counselor 2.0. So check that out. You can use the code GC2 for a few bucks off your coffee beans. I'm actually serious. It's really, really good coffee. I'm drinking it right now. And then, I want to give some shout outs to people. Becky, Gerald, Mark, Eugene. Hopefully your live was good, my guy. I saw you go live. And it's good to see you. Chris, Brett, Joe, Paulo, Scott, it's good to see you. Jeff, it's good to see you as well. So we got the crew out today. All right, Jonathan, who are you, man? What do you do? And then we'll go from there.
Well, you kind of summed it up. Senior leadership. I've worked in tech, product, marketing, mostly as a people leader and mentor. Broad experience. Next role, I get to do some more product work, which I'm excited about. It'll be a change from the consulting I've been doing since October. But
okay.
that's sort of the nuts and bolts. Like you said, network. Go look at my page. Send me an invite.
Yeah,
Happy to connect
absolutely.
with anyone. Happy to help anyone on the hunt. Taylor's talked about it before, but it's something that I took to heart. Jumping straight in, see the transition. I literally spent most of my time during my job hunt not hunting for myself, but connecting others. So
Really?
for anyone in this chat, I've saw a couple names of folks who I have taken coffee chats with. Send me an invite. If I have thousands of people in my network built from Silicon Valley to Nashville, nationwide, worldwide, I probably know someone who I can introduce you to.
So let's talk about that for a second.
Sure.
Again, I love how you just dived in. Doing my job for me.
I try.
I talk about that a lot, right? Where it's like, hey, even if you're not the type of person who like wants to put yourself out there with content or, be all over social media, you can still be a connector of people on the back end. I mean, talk about why that's so important, kind of what you've learned. I mean, granted, your job that you got wasn't from that directly, but can you maybe talk about how that kind of tidal waved on itself a little bit?
Yeah, well, so on that, I'm both. Like I'm literally everywhere.
You are.
Every Twitter replacement that comes up, I
You are.
stake a flag. Every social network, I have a presence. I probably have, I mean, right now I've got just your tab open, but usually I've got like 15 tabs spread out and I bounce between them and check in with folks and do the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so what I would say, um, easiest thing in the world, like Taylor has mentioned before, like, warm intro. Hey, saw you on Guidance Counselor 2.0. I'm writing an intro for everyone in chat if they want it. Saw you on Guidance Counselor 2.0. Really enjoyed what you said about pick thing. Insert here. Would love to discuss further. You know, tell me something interesting about you. Currently, I'm blah, blah, blah. Looking for making friends, seeking connections. Would love to chat.
Yep.
Point two, and if you're interested in building your network and finding value and filtering the wheat from the chaff, I message every single person as soon as I get a connection request.
Mm,
And almost every single person who's connected with me gets something along the lines of, hey, really appreciate the outreach. Looking forward to learning from you. And I hope I have things I can teach you.
mm,
If I can ever be of service, please don't hesitate to reach out.
mm.
People who respond get attention. I've, like I said, I've been doing this 20 years.
Right.
I'm definitely a little grayer now, but
Well, but I want to talk about that for a second, right? Because
yeah,
again, this is like you're a little grayer, a little wiser, right?
well,
Mine's
grayer.
fake. What? Like I mean, again, people probably look at you like, really? Jonathan's like on social media and he leveraged to find a job. Like why do I need to be on it? Like I can do it myself. Can you talk about the aspect of social media and how it really probably turned the job search into a social thing?
Yeah, so that's actually, I hate buzzwords famously. Like anyone who's worked with me knows I
Same.
rail
I
against
hate it.
them constantly. But the one buzzword here that actually does apply is social media is your long lever.
Mm,
You literally cannot, unless you're going to a conference, you cannot put your stuff in front of 10,000 people hitting enter. Like
mm,
you just can't do it. You can post on your LinkedIn, like the post that you commented on and said, "Hey, I want you to come on and talk about this." I looked at it just before, and I think I'm just north of 12,000 people who have interacted with it. Not everyone liked it, not everyone commented on
sure.
it, but there were a few people who did reach out and say, "Hey, I wanted to talk to you about that." I think I'd like 6 or 7 messages about
Yeah.
it. Every comment, I go in and take 2 seconds, thank you, interact. If someone's really interested or motivated, they're gonna reach out.
Yeah.
And the same thing, Taylor's famously on Twitter all the time, literally all the time. And, I see a Taylor post and I'm gonna interact with it. And funny thing, I interact with Taylor. Guess what? I get to ride his coattails and all the hard work he's doing. And that post is going to be seen by thousands and thousands of people. And if he interacts with my post, it just bumps it again and bumps it again. It's not rocket science. It's a game of numbers.
It's a game of numbers. Talk about, man. I mean, so how long were you on the job search for, really?
So I'm in a weird situation because I had an agreement with my startup that I knew I was going to be moving on.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I started a soft search,
Sure.
kind of keeping eyes open, reaching out to folks in the network. February 22.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
had 5 or 6 conversations from February to
February
October.
22 or February 23?
What year are we in?
23.
Yeah, I know, 22.
Wow.
So, but that was just me being kind of forward planning.
Sure.
October, I went
2022.
whole. Yeah, October
Okay.
of 22, I went whole hog.
Okay.
I stepped away from my role. I took on some consulting network stuff.
So at least
Um,
8 months. Does that sound about right? 8 months
yeah,
job search?
give or take 8.
Okay.
But I'm also, I guess, uniquely blessed. I planned. So unlike some folks who, I need a job now.
All right.
I could be a little picky choosy. I could take a consult gig and pick up a couple grand to help with the bills
Sure.
and extend the search. I really open applied, like me hitting the
Easy
I
apply.
want this job. Well, easy apply is a separate thing.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest with that. Easy applied, and we've talked about it. That's fill the funnel. It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
And I worked actually. You had him on earlier, Alicia Novin.
Oh
I
yeah.
I worked with Alicia back and forth, probably 5 revisions using his template of
Really?
resume.
That's awesome.
And
Heck yeah.
since you don't remember, that was when you immediately went, "Oh my god, I love this resume. We need to go have a
Wait, that was
milkshake.
you?
We need to go have a milkshake at Shake Shack. I'm
Oh
in
my
town. Go
gosh.
grab it."
That's awesome. Connect
But
dots even now.
that's the power. Like you do one thing, you put yourself in front of people. I messaged Alicia. He happened to be a guest on you. We're coming on. You
Mhm.
guys were doing the review,
Yeah.
and you immediately went, "Oh my god, I love this senior engineering leader. You told me
It was
what you
great.
do. These
I
are the tech
remember.
stacks. This is the experience, quantifiable, quantifiable. This is brilliant. If every resume I had was like this, I would cry every day." And I went, "Okay, cool. Connection request, send." It becomes a no-brainer,
Right,
and
right.
that's the part where for this job search, you got to do both sides of the coin. Like
Because
I've go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. Sorry. Both sides of the
All
coin.
I was going to say is the easy apply button you mentioned.
Yeah.
If I fit 5 of 10, I'm
Mhm,
hitting apply. My
mhm,
resume is already stored in LinkedIn.
mhm,
Maybe I have 4 or 5 fields to fill out.
mhm.
One knockout question that I've been in the game long enough, I know how to answer so that I pass.
Right, right,
Enter. Buy.
right.
Yeah, I can do 5 or 600 of those a day.
Yeah.
That's not even thinking. But jobs that I actually applied to, 7.
Wow.
One a month that triggered one of the save searches that led to the role I'm gonna take on next.
That's awesome. Yeah,
That
and
you
I wanna talk about those saved searches in a second for sure.
Yeah,
I
sure.
wanna get to shout out to a few people. Dan, my guy, what's up, dude? It's good to see you, buddy.
Man,
Our pal Dan, Garrett, it's good to see you as well. Alex, Alex goes, "Hey, I recognize this guy."
uh, I recognize
R
both those
RJ, it's
guys.
good to see you, buddy. And then, yeah, big Alicia fan here. Very glad to be able to connect with him, a former company. Alicia's the goat. I love that guy. All right,
He
so
is.
let's talk about save searches, right? Again,
Sure.
practical. The whole point of this is to try to give really practical, tactical advice to individuals. What does it look like when you say save searches? What is it? Can you kind of unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, so, I mean, LinkedIn's really good at some things and really bad at some things, and one of the UX things that they got really spot on is prompting you to do a safe search. So, when you do a search for a specific role, the little slider button, save this search.
Hmm.
90% of the searches I did, it was just curiosity. I wasn't gonna like flip a switch, but you know, 2023 being the year of intentionality, I 100% for the roles I targeted, like senior engineering leadership, senior engineering management, executive searches,
Mhm.
product roles I was interested in, operational roles I was interested in. I'd do a search. I'd have one that was narrowed to the Nashville metro. It's where I currently
Yep.
reside.
Yeah. John,
And
where in Nashville do you live again?
I'm east, out Mount Juliet.
Okay,
So
cool. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, sweet.
yeah. Just far enough away that we don't have the bustle. Like I have
Yeah,
fireflies. It's kind of cool.
yeah,
Um, but long story short, on the search, like I'll just take one role as an example. Like if I was looking for a vice president of engineering,
mhm.
I'd do a search for VP of Eng.
Okay.
I'd set the
When you
metro
say
to
search, you mean here, you know what? I'm just gonna pull up my computer real quick.
yeah.
Let's
Like
just do this real
let's
quick.
do a safe search for
Yeah,
Taylor.
let's just do hold on real quick. I'm gonna
Oh,
present. I'm gonna
you're
present.
leaning me back into when I used to be a teacher.
I know. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Do we
Easy.
see
Okay.
that?
So yeah,
Okay.
go up to the job tab.
Up here? No,
Nope.
job tab.
Job. Yeah, you got to click on job. It's the third. There you go.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, now up in the top bar, search something. I don't know. Let's do a safe search for Vaco. So Vaco, and let's do city as Nashville Metro.
Okay.
Okay,
So now
so
what?
well, first off, set alert. That's the slider that if you want to, you can set it. Uncheck
Okay.
that for right now.
Yep.
Let's be a little more granular because realistically, if you're not in the first day, you
Yeah.
may as well not. So date posted last 24 hours.
Yep. And I would agree with that. That's big.
Let's say you're a little more senior, so let's go experience level. Don't mark anything.
Don't mark anything.
Here's why.
Okay.
Taylor, you're a recruiter. You can vouch for this.
Yeah.
Job posters suck.
Yep.
90% of people who put the job up are not actually going to fill out those things accurately. So if you put executive or you put senior,
It's
it,
not.
it won't come up. If you put mid senior, you will see director level titles.
Yeah. So
So
don't check that.
yeah, don't check that. Don't check
Okay.
salary. I I know it's there, but I don't. But the big thing here, all filters. No one checks into this, and
Ooh.
this is where you start to actually get the real power of a safe search. If you scroll down a little farther, you're going to see that you can tailor like, hey, guess what? I'm interested in on-site and hybrid.
Okay.
So, oh, you know what? I drive a 2004 Dodge Ram 1500 with a 5.7 Hemi, and I get 10 miles to the gallon. Kid you not. Um, I'm not driving more than say 50 miles. So if you uncheck remote and switch it to on-site, I can set it. Hey, let's go ahead and set the slider to 50 miles.
Okay.
That'll give me any roll within 50, and then down in the bottom right, look, there's 4 results.
Right.
So in the
So
past
then,
day, y'all put up 4.
so go ahead
Now,
and click on that yet or not?
yeah, I'd click on this one. Where I found my role, and this is sort of the cheat code. I did one that was like super, super specific.
Yeah.
So I had one that was specifically for the industries I wanted to work in. It was remote, so it was nationwide. But the
Mhm.
industries I wanted to work in with the title, um, like I think I had 12 parameters on my search.
Okay.
And when I turned it on, you can go in and you can edit. Like, do you want a daily digest email as soon as possible?
Okay.
But now that you save that, throughout the day, it's going to keep waiting. And I don't know if it's official. Like LinkedIn, I'm sure has it documented somewhere, but I would get a push notification around 8 a.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, and
Oh,
4:50 Central Time.
interesting. Okay.
So whenever they ran the cron job that was updating, like, hey, new things posted, boom, I would get an alert. So for my new role, the weird part about like the universe talking to you, I got my 650 post,
Mhm.
and the role that I wound up reaching out to the job poster and saying like, hey, I had a quick question about this. I haven't applied, but
Right.
and I wrote a decent human message, sent it. It had only posted like maybe 5 minutes before my alert cycled.
Hmm.
So there were 0 applicants when I messaged him. It just timing. Um, the question was really specific. It was listed as hybrid and it's out of my market. And
Mhm.
it specifically said in the job description, you need to be able to come in 2 to 3 days per week. So I
Hmm.
said, okay, hey, I had a question about this. 2 to 3 days per week, is that a hard and fast? Because everything else this is a 10 of 10 role for me. I would love to
Mhm.
apply, but I'm not flying in and out every
Right.
week.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And lo and behold, it wasn't a hard and fast. They just wanted to limit. It was a semi knockout question. They wanted to limit the audience.
Ah. Okay.
So long story short, by connecting, I got to ask a couple questions. He had prompted me to say, like, hey, yeah, go ahead and apply. And I had already responded, like, yeah, after you answered the first one, I'm so interested in this role. I've already applied. Like, it's sitting in your inbox.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So we had a conversation, and one thing led to another, and I start Tuesday.
That's so awesome.
So
So talk about the note. So did you also do notifications on social media too? I mean, outside of LinkedIn, did you set up any notifications at all, like on
sort of
Twitter?
yes, sort of yes, sort of no.
Okay.
There were a couple companies that had popped up that there were roles I was interested in that were really
Hmm.
few and far between. Um, but, like, I have some friends who are in the video game industry, and there's a new push for engineering leadership that you know has empathy, knows how to lead, can address issues, blah blah blah,
Sure,
things
sure.
that I'm good at.
Right.
And one of them was for a game that I love to play, so I would have absolutely been honored to go and work with
Yeah.
them. So I did set an alert for their jobs page on my RSS reader to say,
Yeah.
hey, if this updates, send me a push.
Sure.
So there's other ways that you can sort of not really cheat code your way to the top of the stack, but
Yeah.
the earlier you get notified that something you're interested in,
Yeah.
more you're stacking the deck in your odds.
Talk about, man, how did you structure at a high level? How did you structure your day, your weeks? I think that's what people have problems with. They're like, I'm laid off. Maybe I'll sleep in a little bit more. And then it's like, well, then that throws off your schedule. And then it's like, well, I need to go run an errand. And all of a sudden it's noon and you haven't done anything. Like, can you talk about how you kind of stayed to a schedule as best as you feasibly could?
Yeah, so well, I said it earlier, I'm on socials. So
Yeah.
pretty much every morning during like the super active part of the hunt, I got up. I'm usually up around 4:30 or 5 in the morning every
Hmm.
day.
Hmm.
Um, Actually, usually earlier, but I take my dog for a little run in the morning and then I come back.
I love it.
Um, Before 6, I had written a post about something.
Okay. So before 6, your
Yeah.
social media, LinkedIn posts.
And at a high level, literally about anything.
Hmm.
Because whatever I find interesting, odds are really good 90% of the people reading it are going to care less. Things that I think of as like this is second nature, everyone should know this. No one freaking knows, and they jump all over it. It I know Taylor's mentioned it before, but I so endorse that statement. Write
Yep.
about something that you just need to write about it, and
Yep.
getting into the habit of writing every day
It
helps.
helps. Has it helped you? I mean, it helps
Yeah,
me tremendously from a speaking, interviewing, getting to the point. A ton.
yeah. So I always tried to push a post out sometime. I'd write it between 5:30 and 6, and I'd hit it around 7 a.m. Central because I knew the
Okay.
Central folks were going into office.
Right.
East Coast folks are already in office.
And Pacific will wake up in an hour and get ready to go.
Yeah, well, depending. I mean, when I worked West Coast in the Valley, I was into office by 4:15 a.m.
Wow.
Well,
Wow.
because I had to sync with India. So
Uh,
that was 4:45 p.m.
okay.
for them. So depending on who your audience is, you will start to notice over, days, weeks, months that
Mhm.
there's a cycle to when your audience interacts with your stuff. For me personally, it was 8 a.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1:30 on Wednesdays, nothing on Fridays, and
Mhm.
Mondays at around 2:30 or 3 when people got bored and went for the second cup of coffee. So I tried to post something around then, not really to do anything other than just get people noticing me.
Love it.
There was no ulterior motive for that. It was
Mhm.
seriously just get my name into the algorithm, get it displayed, and
Mhm.
then if you have the green open to work and you haven't noticed, it does allow you to push the post with their pre-done graphic, and it gets some higher visibility in feed.
Okay.
So hitting every, I think it's time gated. I want to say it's every 3 weeks you
Okay.
can hit that to make that post. That was the one post that I would literally spend like 2 or 3 days prepping for.
Mm.
Um, Everyone's read them. Hey, I've been laid off, and you have a
Yeah.
choice at that point. It's either sob story about, you know, I appreciate the company so much. I learned so much. I love. I'm an empathetic person.
Mhm.
I want to feel your pain too. Shared pain is minimized.
Mhm.
We get that. You're hurting yourself
Mm.
badly because that post is going to be promoted. You have the opportunity to grab people's eyes. Give people give people permission to help.
Mm.
So every time I posted, I would say something to the effect of, "Hey, I am still on my search. I am a senior people leader, 20 years of experience across product marketing and operations, mainly focused in technology. I'm
Mhm.
currently looking for VP of technology, VP of engineering,
Mm.
blah blah blah.
Yeah.
If you know of anyone in your network or have an opportunity, I would love if you could comment below or send me a message or make an introduction. Give people a checklist.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many referrals I got because I literally lost track of how many times people in my network said, gosh, it's been so long since we've chatted. So sorry to see your situation. However, I work for such and such. I just saw that we had an opening on the internal board. Would you be interested in me referring
So here's a question for you. It just popped in my head.
you? Yeah.
People can look at you now and be like, "All right, well, John, this is great, right? The job you got was from a notification setting. It wasn't because you introduced people. It wasn't because you make it a post. But talk about why it's all important."
Well, I mean, that's literally it. It is all important. There isn't there. The easiest way to say it, there's no magic bullet. If there was a magic
Correct.
bullet,
Correct.
every
100%.
single person who was out of work would have a job.
Correct. Correct.
And I can't remember if Taylor said it, but I know a number of other recruiters that I interact with have said it. This is the weirdest job market that anyone in recruiting's ever seen.
Buddy of mine, and John, you can maybe test this. A buddy of mine, he's a data engineer.
Mhm.
Uh, wise, right? Wise beyond his years. And he said, he was around for .com. He was here for 9/11. He was here for '08. And he goes, this is the weirdest job market right now that he's ever seen.
I am of a similar age, and I can say with absolute certainty. I mean, I graduated university in the year of the dot bomb. I had a Valley role lined up for post grad,
Wow.
and in March of my senior year, had my job rescinded. So that led to me actually going off and becoming a teacher for 3 years, and I
Yeah.
absolutely loved every moment of it. But at the same time, like, yeah, I've seen like what I thought was the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
In my adult life, I mean, I'm again lucky I could go out and consult because I have
Sure.
a depth of knowledge, a breadth of knowledge,
Sure.
and a
Sure.
lot of years of experience. I This was the longest I was between formal roles as an adult. Like
Yeah.
I have consulted since 2006, and
Mm.
I've always had sort of, now we call them side hustles. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
every company that I've ever worked for has been cool with me consulting as long as I was not, competing or working for the enemy.
Mm.
This was the first time I literally went to consulting and went, well, this is my full-time job now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I had companies that, we were at final hiring manager interview, and yeah, we're gonna schedule, and I have no idea where they went.
Yeah. I know you and I messaged about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to get to two things real fast as we wrap up here. We got a little distracted with your schedule. I want to rush through that real
Oh,
fast
yeah,
and
yeah,
answer
yeah.
the top
So
question. So
early
6
post,
a.m. made a post. Then what
yeah.
do you do kind of in the morning time? What was your kind of plan?
9 times out of 10, I'd just sort of click through my 14 to 16 saved searches, see if I
Okay.
missed
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
If I did miss anything, click, click, move to the next. After that, I would make my lunch, take the
Make,
dog for another,
it's
yeah.
very important. You got to step away from the screen during this.
Yeah, I'd take my dog for another walk. We'd go around the block 2 or 3 times. I'd come back. At that point, literally, I'd spend like an hour and just take a break. Like I would from like noon to 1, noon to 1:30, pretty
Yeah.
much every day.
Get out of
shut
the
it
computer.
down. Well, no, I'd still be on the computer. I'd jump on
Okay.
Twitter. I'd jump on,
Okay. Cool.
Insta, whatever other. But that was my time where I could go out and interact and sort of be social.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a dad, so during the school year, my kids got home at 2:30 and 3:30.
Mm-hmm.
Spend some time with them, help with homework. The computer was always on. If I heard a beep, I'd go peek.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd do the regular stuff, cook dinner for the family, do some house stuff. And at night, once everyone went back to sleep, I'd go and do it again. I'd check back on it. Did I miss anything? Was there anything important?
Mm-hmm.
Um, the last part, pretty much every night, I'd
Yeah.
log in and play video games with friends
I love it.
for like an hour or two, just jump into Destiny and go shoot things. And that was sort of my little escapism.
And I think
Uh,
that's important. And I think
yeah.
that's important.
Well, and sort of to tie everything together, like, yeah, the job hunt was hard. And realistically, it will break you. Like,
Mm,
you will feel the highest highs of, oh, an offer's coming, and the lowest lows of where did they go?
mm,
You will feel absolutely hopeless because you've applied to 5,000 roles and had one interview or
mm,
had two screenings, or you screened for a role and you thought you nailed it and you get a thank you, we're not going to move forward, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
Uh, I really hate to burst everybody's special bubble, but this is the lesson that helped me through the most.
Mm,
We're all special, which makes none of us special. We don't
mm,
know what the job hunt is like for anyone else, but at the same time, we also don't know what the hiring manager really needs. And from talking to hiring managers, being one,
they don't know.
9 times out of 10, we don't know. We could talk to someone and say, wow, this person is like 15 of 10 of what I was looking for. And then we go back and read our notes and we huddle with the rest of the team and go, yeah, you know what? That's not what we need.
Mm,
And we change the parameters of the job. And
mm,
maybe we don't start over, but maybe we move to our fifth choice who only hit 2 of 10 for the job listing,
right.
but they're a 10 of 10 of what we discovered we need.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the biggest lesson I learned was I have zero expectation or entitlement that I'm deserving of a callback. I think as a human I
Mm,
am, but from a corporate perspective, I don't expect anyone to get back to me.
mm,
I appreciate those that do, and I write a very heartfelt personal thank you to every single person who responds to me like a person, and then I
mm-hmm.
send them a connection request on LinkedIn. Um, but reality is it's business.
Yep.
And moving past the work is your family thing that most Americans have adopted, we're a family here. No, it's late stage capitalism, and we are all expendable.
Mm,
Um, you know, taking care of your own making sure your mental health does not suffer. You know,
mm,
I know we're short on time, but like my neighborhood has a fishing pond. It's stocked. It's got smallmouth bass and cat in it. I will take a fishing rod out on nice nights. I won't even put a hook on. I'll just put weights and a bobber. Cast. It is just my peaceful, quiet place. It lets me hit
mm.
reset.
I love that. I
And
love that.
if you're not hitting reset, you will grind yourself into dust before you earn the role. And then how do you expect to do the role once you get it?
We're in right there. That was so good. That was so good, Scott. We will, Jonathan and I will answer your question after this in the chat because I have some thoughts too. But at the end of the day, there is some tweaking and adjusting, but we'll answer that. Jonathan, last question. Last question. I end this every episode. Guidance counselor 2.0. We had guidance counselors in middle school, high school, and college, but now as adults, we don't really have guidance counselors that much. What would be your biggest piece of career advice to your younger self?
That's a different question you usually ask. I was prepared for everything but that one. I would say if it was to my younger self, um, have faith in yourself.
Mm,
Honestly, I mean, it's not a secret. I make it really public. I'm a recovered alcoholic. I'm 12
mm,
years sober,
mm,
and I spent a fair chunk of my early career drunk.
mm.
And for whatever reasons that is, that's a whole other episode. But the short version, once you accept who you are deeply introspective and you become so self-aware that you understand your motivations, whys, what's, and what brings you fulfillment,
Mm-hmm.
do that.
Mm.
Go if you are into baking pies, go bake pies.
Mm.
If you can't bake pies but you love baking pies, figure out a way to be pie adjacent.
Mm.
Do something that brings you joy, because as whatever you believe spiritually, religiously, whatever else, we are given 72 years on this planet as an average.
Mm.
Why spend a single second ensuring that you're going to be miserable?
So good. So good. I love that. Well, y'all, hopefully you enjoyed it. I already see the comments. There's a lot of people who have. Please go connect with John on LinkedIn. John, thanks again, man. This was great.
Yeah,
Stay on real
absolutely.
quick.
Yeah,
Off stage so I can say bye to you. But y'all, thank you again for hanging out with us today. Tomorrow, Unicorn Finders. We are hanging out with the company doing some really cool stuff in the I was gonna say the electrical engineering. They're in the energy space. Don't really know what it is, but they sound fascinating. It's called Combo Curve. They just secured their $50 million in Series B. So really excited to uncover what they got going on. They have a bunch of awards. So tomorrow morning, Unicorn Finders at 9:30 a.m. Central. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.